What's going on, 309? It's your boy, Big Game Dre, one half of the dynamic duo that makes up Chopping It Up radio show. What up, Abofa? How you feeling, brother?
Feeling good, man. What's happening?
Man, good, brother. Chilling, brother. Chilling. We had to do a special episode of the Chopping It Up radio show because this is a great week of sports, but we had a recent team participate in a TBT tournament, which is an annual tournament that started about, I believe, 7 years ago, where former players and current players professionally participate to win big money. I think this year's grand prize was $1 million. In the past, has been upwards to $2 million. And we have the coach of the Peoria All-Stars who participated in the TBT for their fourth year in a row, Coach Willie Wink Williams. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, all good, man. Appreciate you getting in here, man. I know you just fresh off the road, brother.
Fresh off, man. Straight in the house and straight in my little room to where my study little library. So just straight in here, man.
Okay, cool. Well, we won't keep you too long, man, because I know you probably need to get with the fam and get some rest. You know, your wife probably want to see you. You know what I mean? So you've been gone for a little while, man. So for the listeners who might not know who you are, why don't you go ahead and give them a little background of who you are, as far as your Peoria roots and your basketball history, and ultimately how that led you to coaching in the TBT.
All right, well, of course, I'm born and raised in Peoria. Played basketball my entire life, played at Peoria Manual. Under Coach McClain, won state championships. Went to the Marine Corps, got out, went to college, did some basketball in college. And I just love basketball, man. So I own my own business. I do a lot of stuff with business, marketing, business development. So I do that all over the nation. So that's what I do for a living. And just coming back to Peoria after I got out the military, I just got back into coaching. So I was at Blaine Sumner with Coach Ron Ingram. We won a city championship there when they last year opened. I was with him there. And then I was doing some AAU stuff. And I've just been training kids, man, for like over 20 years. And I always just been a student of the game. So I just use the tool of basketball to give back to my community, give people opportunity, chances, and things like that. So I started my AAU program, mentorship program. Last year was my first year. So I just love using the game to reach the youth and inspire and to develop, young men. So the game of basketball for me is giving. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be as selfless as I can to help my community. So that's what I'm really about, just helping people, man.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, the game of basketball, it can teach you so many life lessons. And, I think it teaches you more off the court than it does on the court, and so we appreciate you using that tool and wanting to pour into our youth. And so, recently, you all participated in this year's TBT tournament. This was the Peoria All-Stars' fourth year in the tournament, correct? Now, for the listeners who might not be familiar with the process of the TBT, how do you go about getting your team selected into this tournament? I think that people don't realize how selective it is, and maybe some of the logistics behind the scenes that have to take place in order for you to get into the tournament.
Well, there's actually a lot of work, man. It's really all year round. People don't understand that, So first you get in, you got to solidify a team once it opens, and it's open for about 3 or 4 months. You put your team in. Then we usually have weekly meetings, like phone meetings, just letting you know what's going on, where it might be. And so each week I'm on the phone for about an hour with the meetings. Then it's thousands of teams from even outside of the United States that apply. And normally on a normal year, they keep 64 teams out of thousands. And so at first it was a voting process. Now the last 2 years, 3 years, they pick each team that they want. So you have to, have a good roster. They don't even really look at the roster. They look at, are you marketable? Will people tune in and watch your game? So that's the biggest thing, because this is a business and people need to understand they're about making money. You can't just put a bunch of people who you think can hoop in and no one knows you, or you're not able to be marketable. So we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm constantly on all those platforms, constantly saying it, keeping the Peoria All-Stars name in and what we doing and tagging and inviting people to it. So they check that. So if you have a following and things like that, you'll get in. And I have a relationship with the owners. I built a relationship with them, and they know me pretty well. We've been professional. We compete, and they in the TBT they love us and respect us a lot. So once they pick you, you got to have anywhere between $9,000 to $10,000 because you got to pay for your flights, your food, your travel. We usually go out there 3 or 4 days early, so I'll rent a gym, I'll rent a car or van for the team. They'll pay for foods, the hotels. I mean, it's expensive, man. So you can't just get in here and think we just gonna go. Ooh, no, you got to pay for your own stuff. So it's taxing. So once they decide that they like you, then they'll let you know you in.
You know, that's good context. So it ain't like the Gus Macker where you get a few guys
No.
and you pull up and you hoop and it's just all good. It's a lot of logistics and finances are attached to those logistics. So you know, when you're building your team and you're looking at your roster, can you just talk about how do you go ahead and pick your team? Do you have a tryout? Do you already have guys that you want? You know, let the listeners know how do you go about formulating your team for the TBT tournament.
For me, my first year was gonna have a trial this year, but of course it got canceled because we was told it wasn't in. So what I do, I look for people first of all who's professional. Are you coachable? I can't have hotheads, argumentative people who just don't understand this level. This is NBA type level. This is not your average regular Joe's hooping at Procter and Carver. 95% of these guys do this for a living, overseas or in a G League. And each year, 10 to 15 of these players that's in this tournament go to the NBA from the TBT or overseas contract. So I pick people who's professional, people who's in shape, people who's going to be dedicated to what I need them to do as far as the same thing. Like once they say you're trying to get in, each player, once you apply, they have to do social media work and get the word out to tell them to go like the page or go tag TBT and Twitter and Instagram. Each player have to do that. So are you going to go on your social medias and do the work that we have to do to get in? Because that's what they look at. They look at how many times they've been tagged, how many followers we have. Each player, are they going on Facebook, Instagram, tagging TBT, getting their family and friends? It's a process, it's work. And so I look at just disciplined professional people and if they can play basketball or not. Will they be upset if they play 10 minutes and the next game they might not play but 2 minutes? Would you upset? Would you pouting, crying, acting like a baby on social media? I ain't got time for that. So I look for professional people who's in shape, and people who's going to be dedicated to do everything that we have to do to get in and to compete and win.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and I think that as the older we get, it becomes tougher to maybe stay in game shape or to stay committed to the game, because even though you might still love the sport, but life has happened. So now you might have that 9 to 5, you might have a wife and kids and things of that nature that keep you from the gym and other obligations, and so that becomes very tough. So I know, in recent tournaments, I know your record in the TBT tournament, even though you lost this past weekend, is above 500. And so you have won games in the past. The teams in the past have had a good foundation of Peoria guys. I can recall, everybody from, Jeff White to Darian White to, Adonis Foot. You've had some Quentin Edwards. You've had some Mike Gills. You've had some good players play in the TBT tournament. This year, things had to change a little bit, and so I know that there was some commotion on social media. I was kind of following it, and there was some people that was kind of disgruntled about the roster makeup this year. Can you kind of talk about what happened? Because I know originally you all weren't in the tournament, and then you got the phone call because a team caught a player from the team caught COVID-19, I believe. And so you were able to get in the tournament, and then you had to essentially like get everything going. Like Craig's in trouble, come quick. Like we gotta go. So if you want to go ahead and kind of just talk about, what all led up to this year's tournament and how you had to adapt and make those audibles in order to even play.
Yeah, it was extremely stressful, man. So they told us we wasn't in, so that's why I canceled the tryout because they called and say, "Hey, we didn't pick you. We only picking 24 teams. You're not one of the teams." And they said, "So next year." So all right. So I told the people who about the tryouts, I canceled that, and some of the people who I already had on the roster, I'm like, "Hey," which they're from Peoria. I'm like, "Hey, we're not going to have it, man." So 2.5 weeks later, actually on Father's Day on a Sunday, they called me like, "Hey, can you play?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I can get it." They said, "Hey, we need you in Columbus in the following Monday. You got to be there on Monday. But at the same time, you're not guaranteed to play, even if you come, because we got 5 slots of people, teams that'll be in front of you if teams test positive for COVID. You know what I'm saying? So we wasn't guaranteed to play even when we went. So I had to tell the team, "Hey, can you make it? Can you go? Can you play?" The teams that I already had, like I had Kiki, Montel, Adonis, who else I have? Marcellus Somerville. I even talked to Sean Livingston. He said he wasn't in game shape. So I have some Peoria players. Alec Peters, I talked to him. He signed a new contract, so he couldn't play. Max Beerfield, who went to Notre Dame, he was going to play, but he couldn't. So everything messed up everything. So I was just calling people, my connects from all over the nation. My assistant coach, Coach Youngman, he was reaching out to people. So we gathered a handful of people. It's like, "Hey, we not guaranteed we can play, but can you make it?" They said they'll pay for our hotels and our food. But the thing is, before we left, I had to tell him, I had to let him know in 3 hours if we could play. If I had a team of a minimum of 8 people, I had 3 hours. So in 3 hours, I got a minimum of 8 people. Actually, I had nine. I had 9 people. And so I told him, he said, "Okay, we sending you this information, fill it out." All the players had to fill it out. And then he said, "We sending you a COVID test in the mail. You get it tomorrow, UPS." So when the COVID test, they send it to you, you dial this number, you zoom in, and they watch you spit in this tube. They go through you step by step. You spit in this tube. Once you spit in the tube, they watch you seal it. You drop it off at a UPS box, right? And then they ship it to New Jersey the next day. Then the next day you get another COVID test. You got to take 2 of them before you're able to come. So if players weren't answering their calls or fill out this paperwork, we on a time clock now. We got to be there. So you fill out this other one, and then a couple players didn't get it, so they had to go to local places to get COVID tests. Like I had to fly my boy in from Idaho. He had to get a COVID test. His COVID test didn't arrive at his house, so I had to get him in Peoria, pick him up from Chicago, get him a COVID test so he can go. So we get there. One on the way there, there's one who said, "Man, I don't want to play. I can't come. I don't feel like playing." So now we down to 8 players. You know what I'm saying? So we still got to roll out. So we get there, and my COVID test didn't come back, so I had to go to a hotel down the street. They wouldn't even let me in because as soon as you come to the hotel, you got to put a mask on, you got to put gloves on. They take your temperature. COVID test come, you can't even go to the hotel. You got to go to the hotel down the street. The crazy part about it is they didn't tell us we had to pay for that hotel. So I had to pay for myself, 2 players who testing come in. So on the first night, I spent $800-900. I had to stay there for 2 nights. Yeah, I had spent $800-900. I had to stay there. You know what I'm saying? So the next day they bring us food over there. So we take it. They bring a COVID test to our room. We take the COVID test. We cannot come out of our room for 24 hours. You can't come out at all. If you come out, you kicked out. So once you pass the COVID test, we was able to come back, go in the main hotel where the bubble was. Everything sealed off, everything gloves. They got tissue for the elevators. It's crazy, like lockdown. So we go in there, we go in our rooms, you take another COVID test. After that, you're able to come out your room, but you only got certain areas you can go in. So everything, it was like in prison because we couldn't come back out. I didn't go outside. Yesterday was my first time outside, and I got there Monday. So
Wow.
all these people had to deal with all this stuff. And then when we get there, they scrub everything down. They had 4 basketball courts inside of the hotel that they built. It was nice though. So they scrubbed everything down with this disinfectant, and you only had like 2 hours of practice. But the course was so slippery and messed up, we couldn't even run. So we had to do half court practice, and we only got to do that for 2 days. So I just met these guys Monday. We had 2 days of half court practice, and then we played.
Mm.
So I had to put in all my offense, all my defense. I had to put in all that stuff in 2 days, man. 2 days. And these dudes, we had the youngest team. They just graduated college. Our oldest player was 24. Everybody else 21, 22, 23. The team we played had a training camp for a month. They played together in college, and they all overseas professionals. And a couple of them was in the NBA. That's the team we played the first game. And then on top of that, John Elmore, their point guard, he's the leading scorer in Conference USA history. Leading scorer of the whole conference. And his teammate, Browning, he was the second leading scorer and assist man in Conference USA history. So we played against some All-Americans and professionals, and we just got out of college and had 2 days of practice, half court practice.
Yeah, and you know, and I remember because post game they interviewed the guy who I think his name might have been Corey. He had the braids. He had I think 23 points, and he said that essentially they did like just lock down, like they created their own bubble where they were together for like 2 weeks or something like that, and you know, but they had the means to do that, you know, and again, when you are trying to, you know, when you have the means, like for instance, when you were saying that you had to call guys to drop everything, and guys is like, listen, I thought it was over. I can't get off work. You know, I can't. My daughter's birthday today, or my, you know, it's, you know, I got stuff going on and stuff too. So then you got to start going to the roster, shuffling things up. And so, and you know, and I know that was discouraging, you know, seeing some of the backlash, but, you know, that's why we wanted to give you an opportunity to come on the show and chop it up and give your side of the story, because you a Peoria dude, you know, you played at Manual. One thing I noticed that, you know, the announcers, they were showing love to the P, you know, showing love to Howard Nathan and everything. So can you just talk about how you wanted to make sure this year's team was special, and how you try to pay tribute to Howard Nathan using the Peoria All-Stars platform?
All right, so another thing too is like, even while I'm at the TBT, I have Zoom meetings with the TBT people every morning, 8 o'clock, and then we have another one like at 2 o'clock. Also at the same time, I got everything they say, I write the bios. So I got to write a bio about each player and what I want them to talk about. So I talked to Charles and the Nathan family. I'm like, I want to dedicate, because a lot of people don't know Howard was part of the first Peoria All-Stars. You know what I'm saying? He was a part of that. He did his video, and he's going to be a part of one last year too. But he was in a hospital. And he was like, man, Wink, I'm rocking with you. I love what you're doing and what you're about. And so we wanted to dedicate everything to him. And so that's what it was about, really, man. Just helping him out and getting his name out there. So when I wrote everything, man, I just wanted to be about him and bringing awareness to him and keep his name alive. And we won. We was going to donate like 100,000 to the. They gonna help start a foundation for Howard Nathan, man, and just do some stuff in the community for the youth, man. So a lot of people don't know all that, but that's what it was about. It's never about me. It's about just like putting on and helping for others, man. So, and the great thing about it is 17.6 million people tuned into our game yesterday. So 17.6 million people heard the name Peoria and Howard Nathan. So, and also the guy Trayvon Allen that was killing, teams from Poland hit him up and offered him a contract just on the game he played yesterday. So that's what it's about for me, man. Giving people opportunities. And I did that.
Yeah, he was getting busy. Y'all had cut it to about 6, I believe.
Yeah.
And then ultimately the herd ended up running away with it. And that's one thing I love about that Elam ending, that anything is possible. You know, it's kind of like baseball where, you know, there's really no time limit. It's just, you know, hey, we going 9 innings, and, you know, if long as it's not tied, you know, we riding this thing out. So I was definitely rooting for y'all. But I think that's good, though, just to hold the backstory of how, you know, you paid tribute to Howard Nathan. The goal, if you would have won, you were looking to start a foundation in his name, you know, and it wasn't a situation where, you know, you were trying to just use the Peoria name to get into the tournament. You already had these connections established to where, you know, that's why you were in the tournament. And then it's not that you didn't want to have Peoria guys on the team. It's just that the way everything transpired, you had to get a team together, or you could stay at home. And then what people also don't realize too, when you're forming relationships with people, you know, and Abofa,
Right.
what we always say, the best ability is availability. And so
Right.
when these people reach out to you, they calling you like they relying on you. And if you tell them, no, I can't get a team together, that might hurt your chances of next year
For
getting into the
next year,
tournament.
exactly.
You know, you did them a favor this year.
Right, and that's what they said. So they tell me like, man, you guaranteed to get in next year. You ain't got to worry about nothing. And just because on the strength of what I did this year, going, but a lot of people don't realize like the Peoria All Stars are part of history in this tournament. If you go to the main page on the TBT, it's a picture of us on there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They main picture is us, the Peoria All Stars. And like the history made, we was the first team to win in the Elam Indy. I played in the Elam Indy all 4 years. No other coach in that tournament yesterday did that. You know what I'm saying? So we part of history right there. We're part of history as far as we was the first team that was in this tournament named after a city. You know what I'm saying? And another thing of history yesterday, we the first live basketball since the thing in COVID. You know what I'm saying? So we're part of history right there too. And people don't look at that. They look at, oh, ain't nobody from Peoria. Another thing I want to say is this. I don't care if it's not one Peoria person on there. I'm from Peoria. I named the team. I started the team. I'm the GM. I'm the coach. So I'm always going to represent Peoria. Like, that's like the Chicago Bulls. All of them from Chicago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Detroit Pistons. They're not all from Detroit, but they represent your city. I'm representing Peoria everywhere I go. So if it's always gonna be Peoria All Stars. I don't care if it's no Peoria players. To me, it's Peoria All Stars because I'm Peoria and I represent Peoria.
If you had to do it all over again, would you have potentially just sat out if you couldn't get enough Peoria guys, if you would have known the backlash you were going to get?
Nope, it's not about them. I don't care if they backlash or talk about me. And I usually don't even speak out about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I usually ignore it because they was doing it the whole week. Like the whole week they was bashing me. But no, man, it's not about that. It's about building a business, a relationship, you know what I'm saying, with the people at the TBT. You know how many connections I got from dealing with these people? You know how I got hooked up with other things? There's other things they want to do with me in the works that's coming in the future of Peoria that I'm not even going to speak on yet. But there's a lot of stuff that because of how I've been dedicated and professional to them, they want to return the favor. So it has nothing to do with having a bunch of Peoria guys on them. It had everything to do with putting the brand out there. Now I created a brand. You know what I'm saying? It's a Peoria brand now. So people in the tournament, the coaches, Seth Greenberg, the commentator, Dan Dockage, they know about us. They respect us a lot. They talk to me all the time when we be in person. Michael Red, all of them, Sellinger, man, they respect the hell out of us. So to me, man, and the coaches always say we do a good job and we compete. So when other people in Peoria who never hooped at this level or seen it talk trash about me, they have no idea how good these guys are or how long and athletic they are. It looks different from in person than on TV.
Oh yeah. Those guys, they weren't playing no games. I know there was one guy on the team y'all played. They was giving him some crap because they said he looked like it was like, how old is this dude? He looks like 45 years old. You know, he looked a little out of shape. You know, he had a receding hairline, but hey, he was letting that thing ride.
Stroke it. He played D1 too. You
Yeah.
never get how to shoot like riding a bike. It don't matter what it looks like. Dude can shoot, man.
Bro, he was letting that thing ride, bro. So I was just like, hey,
Right.
this guy, he ain't just at your local YMCA. This man gets buckets, you know what I mean? And so that's what people don't realize. And so too, but yeah, I appreciate you, you know, you putting that together. And, you know, I know how it is, man, when you trying to build these relationships and you trying to be professional. And like we say, the best ability is availability. And you could have easily said, no, I can't put a team together because I can't get enough Peoria guys. And granted, we would have all loved to see a roster full of Peoria guys because, I mean, that's how passionate, you know, we are about basketball in the city. You know, Peoria is a basketball
But Dre,
town.
let me tell you something. Let me say one thing. We don't have enough in shape, athletic Peoria guys to compete on that level. We just not big enough. We do not have that. And that's what people need to understand. Do they understand the dudes we were playing against yesterday? One of them had a 49-inch vertical at 6'9", and he moved like he was 6'3". Do they not understand that? Like, even like, the ones who played D1 and the Bradley guys, it was like, we've never seen a human being jump that high before. This is not nothing that you're going to see at the playground or.
Was that dude with the dude with the fro? He was jumping out the
You should see
gym.
him in warm-up. He was looking inside of the rim during warm-ups, dog. Like, just jumping and looking in the rim and dunking it. Like, and every team has athletes like that.
Yeah.
These dudes do this for a living. This is what they do 24/7. 24/7, this is what they do. You look at Ethan Happ. He's a 6'9" point guard. And who we have in Peoria, that's a 6'9" point guard that's going to guard him. You know what I'm saying? So people think, we need all Peoria team. That wouldn't work. That would not work.
No, we don't.
That would not work. We don't have no 7-footers. We don't have no 7'1", no 7'3". We don't have that here. We don't have no guys with no 50-inch vertical that's in shape.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Yeah. If we could turn the clock back 10 years, maybe, but that 2020.
Longer than 10 years.
Yeah, we'd be good, but we don't have that in Peoria no more. So, like I said, I got to reach outside of Peoria and grab some people.
Now, how often or do you ever like target the colleges around in the area, like Bradley, Eureka, and things like that?
They usually reach out to me, like Coach Water, Bradley coach. He called me and asked me if I had room for his players, and I talked to him. I said yeah, of course, because I needed something too. But that's how they usually reach out to me, man. So that's how it is. Like, even the cat. Trayvon that was killing, he just graduated from Idaho, and like, people don't realize he was 12th in the nation in D1 scoring this year. So he was on the top scorers in college basketball, and like, this was his first time playing full court basketball in 3 months. 3 months, that's his first time playing full court basketball. Just imagine if he had been playing. You see what he did. So it's people who reach out to me, and people who know me from the TBT, other players who reach out to me and ask me, could they run with me, or they like how I coach or our program. And so they reach out to me, man, and I reach out to them too, but a lot of them reach out to me.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. And getting them building them relationships, with Bradley.
Yeah.
I know you had KD who played at ICC on your team as well too, who was representing the P as well too.
Yeah.
I think he played at Limestone in high school and stuff too. And I saw a post from him, and he was just even saying, like, as someone who does this, who plays basketball all the time, playing at that level was something that he didn't see before. So, for those, it's easy to say, as I'm eating my nachos and watching y'all play, like, man, we could be out there, man.
I know I want to be out there. I know I want to be out there.
No, I do not.
Oh,
I would love to travel and watch on the sidelines and drink my $9 beer and cheer y'all on, but that is it.
I even be ball boy, but I ain't trying to be out there.
That is all I got. Is positive. All I got is positive vibes and high fives. That is it.
Hey, them dudes fast, man. Even like the bigger dudes, like, they get up the court quick, man. It doesn't do you justice to watch it from home, but when you seeing it live and up close and personal, like, even like Coach Youngman, my assistant coach, he been coaching for almost 40 years, and he said watching it at home on TV and being there, he said it's night and day. He said it's no comparison. He said it's see it, and I see it. Like, for instance, when Kendall was shooting a jumper in the corner three, the 6'8" dude with the braids, he took one step from the lane and was at the three-point line to attempt to block his shot with one step. I don't know nobody in Peoria that can get that far that quick and jump that high. He was in the lane and took one step and almost blocked a shot from three. So that's what I'm talking about, the athletes and the athleticism that you run into in this tournament. Is you have to be in tip-top shape, because every dude who played last night woke up this morning sore. You sore. You can't move. You sore. Is that physical, man? Is that
now?
physical?
Do you have any prediction of who you think gonna win the TBT?
Man, honestly, I think overseas elite, because of their experience. And Joe Johnson, let me tell you something. We was in the elevator next to Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson is not 6'7". He about 6'9". He about 6'8", 6'9". That dude is huge. He is big, man. He is not no 6'6" or 6'7". I mean, that dude about 6'8", 6'9". So with him and just their experience, I look at Overseas Elite. I like Carmen's crew. I think they tough. Even the Illinois squad, the way they looked the other night, they looked pretty good. So, but I think Overseas Elite.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You know, they got, I mean, anytime you add a couple of former NBA players to that already deep
It's
team,
always nice.
it's always nice to casually have Joe Johnson on your team. You know what I mean? Which is dope. The Illinois team, they did look good. I know that there was some questions about their team. People were kind of wondering some of the roster moves because you saw like Dimitri McCaney playing with Evan Turner's team, which him and Evan Turner are boys though. So you got to look at it
But
like
he played
that.
with him last year too, though.
Yeah, he did. And then Brandon Paul played on the team that played after y'all. They ended up getting beat, but he played in the TBT.
Yeah, I talked to BP. I talked to BP last night. We was in the hotel kicking it, and
I was surprised to see that.
No, he said because he was going to play with them, but he felt he had a better chance with Team Hines. But some people pulled out because Team Hines was loaded. Some of those guys pulled out because of the COVID, so they left the team with what they had. And BP said, "I'm just going to be loyal to him because I committed." But he was going to go to the Illinois team, but he thought if all the Team Hines players would have played and came, they would probably won the whole thing because they was loaded. They was loaded, man.
Yeah, I would, just being an Illinois fan, that would have been dope to see, a BP and McCaney and it's been some decent guys come out of Illinois the last few years. Get some of those guys to play. DJ Richardson,
Yeah.
go ahead and suit them up, bro. That'd have been dope, man. So shout out to them, man. But yeah, though, bro. Well, yeah, we appreciate you coming on, man, and chopping it up with us, bro, and telling your side and giving us that inside scoop of everything, just being on, like you said, being on lockdown because of the COVID, and this is your first time outside, man. It's like you doing a bid.
Man, we was in the hotel room for almost a week, dog, but they took care of us, man. Like we have food, and the crazy part about it is each team had to go to certain levels on floors to get their food each day. It was lunch and breakfast between certain times. Each morning we get up, take a COVID test. Everybody had their own suite. There wasn't no doubling the rooms. Everybody had their own suite. We had a team room, which was huge. We had kitchen, huge couch TVs. We watched film in there, movies, refrigerators. They had everything you want. You could order food. But they gave us like maybe $1,500 worth of gear. They gave us medical equipment. Man, they gave us everything you can think of. They gave us, man. I mean, they took care of us, man. Everything was fine, and it was amazing how they pulled it off because the NBA is watching, and a lot of other sports franchises are watching to see how it worked. I mean, and they did a good job, man. They pulled it off.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the blueprint, and hopefully everything goes good. I think I dare see that though. Another a player did test positive on another team though.
Eberline Drive.
Okay, so did they yank their team?
Yeah, so this is how it works. So each day, like 2 or 3 teams come in, okay? And then the next day, 2 or 3 more teams come in. So when you first get there, you get tested. Once you get tested, but before you come, you got to already pass a negative test. So a lot of people was picking up the COVID when they was traveling in on airplanes and driving, whatever. So once they get in, you take another test, and the people was popping positive. They stayed in their room. They had to quarantine their room. You can't come out to your room till you get another negative test once you're there. So in 24 hours, they was in quarantine. So once they test positive, they had to go. So their medical staff and people in masks walked them out, and they had a hotel for them, and they had to go.
Man, I bet you feel real, man. That's just sad. You just travel all that way.
What's messed up is now you're probably in Ohio or something, and you got to quarantine for 14 days.
Yeah, they pay for that though. If you got a quarantine,
I mean that's nice, but
yeah, but
like
they had a hotel just for quarantine for the whole squad. So they spent some money, man. They spent over $1 million. They said for all this, like at 1.5 million for all of this, man. So we was getting COVID tests every single day. So I know I ain't got COVID. I took 8.
Hey, at least they had y'all doing a joint though, where you was spitting in the cup and not putting that thing up your nose.
Man. But hey, the spit in the cup, you had to spit so much, man. My cheeks were sore and numb, and it took me like 10 minutes every day. Then you couldn't eat nothing for 30 minutes or drink nothing 30 minutes prior. So now your mouth dry. I ain't think it was that hard to come up with spit, man, but it was hard every single day.
That's a commitment, man. Hey, but that nose test ain't no joint, man, because they trying to, man, they going up there. So, you know, that nose ain't no joke, man. Abofa, you got any last minute questions for Wink, man, before we let him get up out of here?
No, I'm good, man. Appreciate you stopping in again. It was good to hear your side of things and everything. And it's like the first taste of basketball we got, and Peoria got to experience some of that, man.
Yeah,
17.6 million people seen it. 17 million.
Yeah, So overall, it definitely was a win for the P. And, you know, I know ultimately y'all would have wanted to do a little better in the tournament, but given the circumstances, y'all were competitive, you know, and I think overall y'all represented the Peoria brand to the fullest, man. So we appreciate you, Coach, coming in and chopping it up with us. And we look forward to 2021, man. I'm hoping that maybe we can travel. I'm hoping.
Hey, I look at it like this, man. We couldn't get up and down full court. I don't care if Phil Jackson was coaching that team. We wasn't going to win. We just couldn't. We didn't know each other. We had no rhythm. But it was a fun experience. I'm glad I did it. I feel we competed. You know what I'm saying? So I got some surprises for next year. I got some surprises.
Hey, it's like when Jordan came back at the half season. He just wasn't ready when it came to the playoffs. He just wasn't ready.
Right.
You ran to Shaq and Penny, and it was just like, it's a little different.
But no, honestly, I'm gonna come back though.
Yeah, honestly, I already had people hitting me up even while I was there, talking about they want to play, and some former NBA players hit me, and so yeah, I got some surprises. So I'm gonna do a tryout, but I'm also gonna do a 2-week training camp. So it's gonna be a little different. So it's getting serious now because we got some big name people who truly want to play. So all the Peoria people say they're ready and they want to play. We're gonna do a tryout. We're gonna see what you got. And we're going to go from there. Now, if you get exposed and embarrassed, don't blame nobody but yourself. And if you come out of shape, you're going to throw up that day.
Man, I remember everybody know. Suicides.
Oh, it's going to be more than suicide, but you're going to throw up that day if you ain't in shape.
Hey, well, you hear it here, man. Coach Wink ain't playing. Peoria All-Stars 2021 is coming back, reloaded, rebooted, and ready to do their thing next year. So we appreciate y'all. Well, yeah, make sure you follow the Peoria All-Stars Facebook page and on Instagram and Twitter as well, too. Stay up with the team. And make sure you also follow the Chopping It Up Facebook group and then C1P Sports Show 309 to keep up with us on our social media as well. All right, for sure, man.
Appreciate y'all, bro.
Hey, no problem, Coach. You take care, brother.
Man.
You too, man. Thank you.
Yep.